October 12th, 1992.
Edward Johnson biography, there's only a short mention. It refers to your father's first appearance as Boris.
In 1943.
Yes, I think so. She does not mention any earlier appearances, just this. And now the Collodin, you're familiar with Collodin rights in the Metropolitan Opera history?
Yes. Yes, I have that.
You have that?
Yes.
It says that several Met artists left for private reasons, you know.
Right.
And of course it could have been that since the season started late due to union trouble, that some artists just didn't want to wait for signing contracts but made other arrangements. Could be, I don't know.
That is also possible.
Because this included Kerstin Turboy, I think, and there are three or four names, including your father's name.
When
I looked up the Tristan broadcast where I prompted.
Yes.
This was early February.
Okay.
This is in your list. You must have it.
I'm looking for the year.
I know the year.
Okay. 46, February the 2nd.
Yeah, that's right.
And Fritz Busch was the conductor.
That's right. I was the prompter.
And you were the prompter.
Because I helped out. It was the only time when I prompted.
Was it easy?
Look, I knew the opera well, and the singers were all very well prepared and knew their parts except Helen Traub.
Oh, dear.
And of course, Melchior made his usual mistakes, but they were so well ingrained, everybody expected it. He never learned the part well. Otto Klemperer once tried in South America, perhaps at the Cologne, to teach him Twister, but he had to give up.
Goodness. And he sang it so many times.
Traub sang it his way.
Yes.
And but Traub had trouble with the words. You know, in the first act, das Schwert, once it says, das Schwert, ich ließ es fallen, nun dien ich dem Vasallen. And then comes again, das Schwert, ich ließ es sinken, nun lasst uns Sühne trinken. But she always mixed it up. So Herbert Weigert, who was the experienced coach, warned me and said, give it to her. So I almost shouted, and she still made it. So this is what I remember.
I assume there isn't anything about my father's performance as Marka that you recall from that one.
Certainly not. He was so secure.
Yes.
He was. He was a great marker.
From your dealings with the...
By the way,
yeah.
Collodin also mentions your father's appearance with a German group, not at the Met. You must have read this too, have you?
Yes. Yes.
There came a group with, I think, Leo Blech conducting.
This was in 1923. It was my my father's first visit to the United States.
Yes, this was a group of German singers who came with Leo Blech, and they appeared in Manhattan.
Right. Well, I
have
have that. There were quite a number of performances. It started, I believe, in Baltimore, and I'm looking at my... yes, I think there was a Fidelio there someplace.
Also Fidelio,
And if I can find my place here, the type is so incredibly small on this. Okay, I'm finding the right year, 1923. All right. Okay, my father's debut was on January 31st, and this was in Baltimore. And Leo Blech conducted. America was also there.
Who?
Morike, Morike. And there was one other person whose name was Knoch.
Yeah, Knoch was an old German conductor who for years lived in the Metropolitan Opera building on, in the studio section.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the old Met?
I remember the old Met, yes.
Yes, and there were a number of studio apartments for rent.
And he had one of them.
Yes, and he coached some singers there.
But he was not living in there at the time that the
I don't know
company came over.
He came when he died, but I remember when I joined the Met, he was still living there and coaching singers.
Mm-hmm. Well, so he conducted a few.
Yes.
I know from my father's description of all of this that somebody absconded with the money from the company. Yes, and that
there was some trouble. A friend of my family in Frankfurt am Main, a buffo tenor by the name of Schramm. He also came. His name is not mentioned, but I think that it Meistersinger.
Mm-hmm.
He sang David.
Uh-huh.
Hermann Schramm.
And did he relate anything about?
He was a friend of my father's, and he told us about the American venture.
What do you remember what he said?
Look, it was very interesting, you see, there was some financial trouble.
Well, somebody absconded with the money, and the company had to decide what they were going to do and whether they would go back to Germany or whether they would try to continue the tour, and they decided to continue.
Was this your father told you?
Yes, that is among the various bits of information he has.
Notes when your father reported these things to you?
Well, he didn't report it to me. He reported it in some sort of an oral record. So it's all on tape.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. Thank God. I wouldn't remember any of that. Well, I was just wondering whether Schramm, what was his first name? Do you remember? Hermann Schramm.
Hermann Schramm, he was for years the tenor buffo at Frankfurt am Main, but he also sang in Bayreuth.
Mm-hmm.
He was quite well known as David and Mime.
Uh-huh. Did he say anything else about the tour?
Look, I was a boy at that time.
As bad as me. Tell me about the backstage situation with when you came to the Met.
Right.
Well, I have heard a number of things, and there's no way of knowing exactly since nobody who is around then.
Tell me, you must give me some hint.
I will. One is that there was a certain amount of anti-Semitism, and that may have been earlier on, about the time that my father came there.
I never experienced.
Mm-hmm.
You see, when I joined the Met, after all, on the musical staff, there was Kurt Adler and Hermann Weigert and Leo Müller and myself, all Jewish, and Wolfgang Martin was half Jewish. He had left Germany because of his being half Jewish. And no, I never experienced anti-Semitism.
And you came to the Met about 1946, right?
I started in the fall of 45.
Mm-hmm.
45 and stayed until 58.
Mm-hmm. The other thing has to do with the fact that my father more or less stayed in the German wing, so-called. That is, from the time...
I think so, because he left the Met after my first year.
Mm-hmm.
And at that time, I was hired by the Met as an assistant conductor. And I was assigned to the Italian wing, the non-German wing,
Mm-hmm.
because I needed someone there and since I spoke Italian rather fluently and French too, I could be useful. And Frank St. Ledger, you must know about him.
Yes.
For Frank St. Ledger, who actually managed the bit, he spotted me right away as his assistant because he hoped to become general manager, Frank St. Ledger.
In place of Edward Johnson.
After Johnson. And he groomed me as his assistant. So this way I learned really the bit management at first hand. And in order to give me responsibilities, he put me in charge of the coaching in the Italian-French wing. But I helped out when there was backstage work in the German operas, naturally. And strangely, when Sell could conduct a Rosenkavalier performance, I was asked to conduct. Which, of course, was quite a disappointment to Hermann Weigert and Wolfgang Martin. But this was the beginning of my success at the Met. I just went to the pit and conducted Rosenkavalier.
For heaven's sakes.
But I've done it in Europe.
Yes.
It was no problem.
Well, my father's roles in the...
At that time, Liszt already sang.
Yes.
Now, you see, it could be either your father didn't want to wait until he could negotiate his contract at the time when they had trouble planning the new season, or perhaps Liszt was cheaper than your father.
Well, you know, that's...
See what I mean?
Yes, this
so
is...
Edward Johnson.
You know, I know what my father made for all of those years. Per performance, he got $300.
That's all?
That is all.
Terrible.
I have that down on paper.
I believe you.
And I was very shocked when I heard that. I mean, when I learned this.
Because a few artists made $1,000.
Flagstad did, Melchior did.
Yes,
I think Pinza, who after all was also,
I don't remember.
probably around 800. I have no idea what Liszt made.
I'm sure he was not very well paid.
But the thing is, he did most of the parts that my father did.
That's right. So probably it suited Johnson in his plans to have Liszt that relatively... perhaps he was engaged by the week. I don't know. This would have to be checked in the archives, the Liszt contract. But it's possible that Liszt was a weekly artist.
Really?
Could be. There were amazing how many good artists were weekly artists, and this I remember.
Well, I know that some of these contracts were done not all that far before the actual performance. But I think in my father's case, it was for a certain number of performances a year.
Look, I'm familiar with the bed contracts, because when I saw all of them, and when Bing came, I was responsible for preparing the contract.
But you don't think that this is at all unusual for such a low fee?
At that time, I think it's unusual. I wouldn't have thought that your father wasn't paid more. This surprises me.
It does me too. So as a result...
But many artists accepted the Met contract just for prestige and made their money elsewhere.
I think that's very much what happened with my father, because he did all of this touring and recital work.
Certainly was with Pinzer. Pinzer made his money by singing many recitals all over the country.
The question of the wings came up because my father seems to have been settled firmly in the German wing with only a few exceptions. But there are a great many roles that he did in other opera houses, in Berlin, in Vienna, Teatro Cologne, even San Francisco, where these are roles that, in general, with very rare exceptions, he did not do at the Met. For example, he never did Mephistopheles in Faust.
He never did that.
No.
He sang it elsewhere.
He sang it elsewhere. He was fairly well known for it.
He sang all these roles in French and Italian, right?
Whatever the language happened to be of the opera house, yes. So that was not one of his things. He did, I think, 1 or 2 Rosenkavaliers, that earlier on in his Met career. Liszt did the majority of them.
Yes.
And again, I don't know why. He did a Nila Kanta, I think, a couple of times, and that was about it. Boris, he did do a number of Arkels in Pelias.
Oh, it is.
And Magic Flute. And then, of course, he also did Don Giovanni, he did Leporello, but not as many times as other people on the roster.
No, when I came to the Met, it was Baccalone.
That's right. Well, it also, when my father did it, he shared it with Baccalone. And they knew each other, and I think probably that there was not really a rivalry there. There must have been a great rivalry with Emanuel Liszt, though.
Probably.
And from what I gather, since Liszt arrived at the Met much earlier than my father, it may have been a matter of Liszt having already put his imprimatur on on everything. Or
but you see, the fact that Liszt was liked by the chance management shows that there was no anti-Semitism.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I never experienced.
There may have been another problem, and I'm just curious about
The only rivalry which existed was between Italians and the others.
Mm-hmm.
Because some of the Italians had been fascists.
I see.
Pinzer had been a great admirer of Mussolini.
I know, and that got him into trouble
Yes.
at one point.
Yes. But there was some, but this subsided when I came to the Met, I think. I was in very good terms with the Italian artists, and since I conversed in Italian with them,
Mm-hmm.
no, I never noticed any anti-Semitism.
Uh-huh. There was another thought that my father came to the Met in 1940. A number of the Jewish singers had already come to the Met within 2, 3, 4, 5 years earlier than that.
You mean refugees?
Yes, they had to leave. Oh, there were great. I think there were quite a few. Emanuel Liszt was one of those.
And Irene Jesna.
Yes. Shore, of course.
Oh, yeah. Shaw had left when I came to the Met.
Mm-hmm.
He had already, I think he left the year before I came.
But there is the thought that my father, who was very well established in Europe, and didn't leave Berlin until 1935, which is late.
Yes, I was surprised when you told me.
And he didn't leave Vienna until 38, although he went back and performed for Jewish organizations as late as 1938 in Germany.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But evidently you could do that if it was a Jewish enterprise, and as long as you had permission.
But there had to be Kulturbund or whatever.
Exactly. But at any rate, suddenly now, somebody who happens to be an American citizen as of 1931 and is married to an American is not exactly in the same situation as somebody who is, say, a German citizen and is Jewish and has to leave, or you get into trouble. And it's possible that there may have been some antagonism against my father when he had to leave, definitely because of the outbreak of the war, at which point he arrives at the Met, and he is not established as one of some of the previous people like Liszt and so forth.
Look, it could be that the people some of the other Jewish artists were so well established already that had been accepted by Johnson, and he was not so much interested in your father, perhaps.
Well, that is what I'm getting to.
See, Johnson had very, I would say, personal likes and dislikes, and one never knew exactly why. Among the European singers, he loved Björling, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
Björling couldn't do wrong for him. Although we got into trouble because he was an alcoholic, as you remember.
Yes.
And he cancelled many times, but still, Johnson loved Jussi Björling. He also loved his wife, by the way.
Björling's wife.
Yes, Annalisa. You don't know I speak Swedish.
Well, yes, you spent time there.
5 years.
Yeah.
And you see, Jussi Björling, we were friends, of course. We always spoke Swedish, and Annalisa had great trouble with him because of his alcoholism and unreliability. Also, he was not a faithful husband.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway,
Just the normal procedures.
besides the point.
Yeah.
Still,
What you started to tell me when I spoke with you last week about Johnson a little bit, what he was like.
well, Johnson was unpredictable. He was a politician, and he was the darling of the high society in New York, and they thought he was a great manager. The work was done by St. Ledger. We always were afraid whenever Johnson made a speech whether he would say the wrong things. He was not very intelligent.
Uh-huh.
No, but he was like a politician. He could make good speeches.
Mm-hmm.
And he was a handshaker, and he knew how to get along with society.
I see.
But he certainly was a liar, and he very unreliable. I won't bother you with my personal experience.
No, not necessary.
No, sometimes he was very nice to me, and then again, behind my back, he treated me badly.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all right.
Yeah.
Free designer Asche.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yes. I speak it so badly with an awful American accent,
But you understand it.
but I can understand it. Yes.
Did your parents speak German?
Yes.
I thought so.
Yeah. It was my first
When
language.
we visited your parents in Westport, we spoke German.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Unfortunately, I never went to school there, so I never learned to read and write it until I went to college.
Oh, I see. Tell me, how old are you?
You don't want to know, do you, really?
No, because I want to compare with my son.
Okay. I just, 2 weeks ago, I had my 62nd birthday.
Oh, 62.
62.
My son is 64.
Well, what does he do?
My son is now, after a long career as a businessman, he has his own consulting firm, and his fields are steel, iron, petrochemicals, all kinds of metals. And he is an international trader,
Mm-hmm.
but now he no longer trades. He's a consultant. He has about 6, 7, 8 clients in this country and in Europe.
Where does he live?
He lives in New York.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, he's in Stockholm,
Mm-hmm.
where he is a consultant in one of the largest Swedish corporation.
Hmm.
And he has clients in London, in Paris, in Italy, and also in this country. He's doing all right. He has a law degree, but he never practiced law.
But I'm sure that's very useful for him.
So, but he's 64.
Mm-hmm.
Now, he speaks perfect German.
Where was he born?
He was born in Frankfurt.
In Frankfurt.
am Main, but he was 1 year old when we left Germany.
I see.
See, we left Germany in 29,
Mm-hmm.
which was our good luck.
Yes, it certainly was. Absolutely.
I just wanted to compare because, of course, my son has used German in his work, and he speaks, reads, and writes it fairly well.
Mm-hmm. Well, I wish I could claim that. I can speak it reasonably well if I'm in a German area for about 3 days.
I'm sure if you would spend a month
Oh, yes.
in German,
Yes, there would come back.
you would
Yeah.
speak it.
Well, tell me, is there anything else that you think would be
No,
useful?
I cannot. I mean that it seems to me that your father was none a favorite of Edward Johnson. Otherwise, he would have been treated him better.
Mm-hmm.
Why, I wouldn't know. One never knew with Johnson.
Mm-hmm. He was just a politic and wouldn't
Yeah,
say
it's a
anything.
terrible thing.
Yeah.
Once had promised Sayao to sing the next Mendelssohn.
Yes.
And then there were some politics, and some Greek industrialist wanted to promote his Greek mistress, and it was given to this girl who was no good at all. It's terrible.
For heaven's sakes.
How he treated. He spoiled my close friendship with Kerstin Thurborg, the Swedish mezzo.
Yes.
Because he acted as though I and St. Ledger had worked against her, but he was the one who didn't want to re-engage originally, and then was surprised that she accepted a very bad contract.
Mm-hmm.
He did terrible things.
Boy.
Completely irresponsible.
Yeah.
A typical Republican. Yes, but he belonged to that conservative, reactionary social group in New York, and they loved him.
Uh-huh.
He was against unions. He hated the orchestra as a tenor because he felt that the orchestra was against it. But he respected conductors. I must say, he respected me and all the other because we could play the piano and correct their mistakes.
I see.
This meant for him that I tell you, he was a strange man.
Your description.
Your father was a musician, or he was.
Yes.
He started as was violin or piano.
Well, he studied to be a bandmaster.
Really?
Yes.
But he's played instruments.
No. I think the only instrument was he studied trombone and I think double bass.
But he could read music.
He could read music, yeah. But I mean, he learned that
I always thought your father had a musical background more than most singers.
I think that's because of a very good musicianship. He could not really sit down and play the piano. He could bang out chords. He knew if it was wrong.
Henry, wasn't George Schick his accompanist?
At one point he did.
I think Schick told me about it. Schick died,
Yes.
Relatively young.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you reminded me about that because I didn't recall that. I have a list of some of the
That's too bad.
pianists.
You could have told your stories, probably.
I bet. I know. Well, I wish I had started on this 15 years ago. But 15 years ago, I might have asked my father a few questions.
Is this a planned book which you're working on?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You have a publisher?
Oh, yes.
Oh, good.
Absolutely. Amadeus Press.
Oh, Amadeus.
Yes.
Amadeus
They're in
Zurich also.
they're in Oregon.
Where?
Oregon.
And not also in Zurich?
I know there's an Amadeus music publisher,
I think, yes,
but I don't think that's the same
that's
thing.
not us.
No, they have quite a number of books on singers. There's a Björling in the works, by the way,
Oh, I see.
and there's a terrific Caruso book, which Amadeus has
There's so
published.
many Caruso books.
Well, this is the one that the Sun did, one of the most recent books,
I see.
and very full of information. It's a very impressive achievement. Anyway,
Good luck.
I'm most grateful to you. Your descriptions are wonderful.
I could was interesting to talk to you. Do I have your address?
Do you have my address?
I think so. I put it down. You live in Manhattan, no?
I live in Connecticut.
Oh,
Let me give it to you. Do you have something to write with?
look, I cannot do it right now. Would you send it to me?
Why don't I send it to
Give
you?
my address?
Sure.
220 West Rittenhouse Square.
220 West Rittenhouse Square.
Square 19102.
I have it in front of me.
Would you be good enough?
I'll be delighted.